Hey guys, this is part 4 of the series of how to find inspiration as a music producer these days, right? So check out the other 3 videos if you haven't. They're super cool. There's a lot of cool tricks when you're stuck and you feel like you've hit a wall, right? So let's just jump into it. Number 1, base yourself on a reference track. Pick a track that you like, that you really appreciate artistically, and try to see what's happening in terms of all the instruments that are being played. This is similar to the point I discussed in a previous video about deconstructing a track. Now that you've deconstructed it, write a track based on it in terms of aesthetics, in terms of instruments coming in and out, automations happening in the track, what instruments are at the forefront at what given time and why, type of grooves being used, as if there's swing in the track or not, whatever it is that you decode, and from the analysis of the track, try to write something very similar to it. It's not going to sound the same. It's going to be inspired by it. You're going to choose different sounds than that producer, but at least it's going to be a starting point for you to move forward. And as you realize, I always talk about that starting point because that's where you're stuck when you're not inspired, because once you're inspired, you've already started laying down your idea, right? So it's as simple as that. Number 2, record samples. That's super cool. Recording your samples become your sounds, and you can use them proudly in your tracks, in your album. For example, you could grab, a percussive instrument and just, you don't need to play a rhythm, just get the sound out and sample it. Whatever it is you want to do, you could do that with so much stuff around you. You could step outside of your house and go next to a tree where there's birds and record the birds. That's something I've done. And I wrote a great track out of that simple, small inspiration. I said, I want these birds, someone to be in the track. And I detuned those birds like 12 semitones, and they kind of sounded a bit different. It was really pretty cool. So that's definitely something to try out, like build your sample library. And it's as simple as you can record on your phone, on a Tascam, whatever it is, record it, and then you'll fine tune it. And again, you might not end up keeping those sounds in your track, but the whole point is it got you started. You wrote a track, you might remove them in the future, but it got you started. That's what's important here. Number 3, change your environment. That's super important. What does that mean? Instead of working in the studio all the time, grab your laptop and go to a coffee shop, go on the mountain, go to your parents' house, go to a friend's house, go anywhere, sit on the sidewalk, just write something. Seeing something different, the environment being different, will allow you to take different decisions. You're going to see something, and next thing you're going to think of this beat, and you're going to start writing something. It's going to be great. So change your environment. A lot of artists write in hotels when they travel, in airports when they're touring, which is super cool. So give that a try and see if that works for you. It works for me a lot, and it works for a lot of people. So think that way, it helps. Number 4, research new plugins or new equipments, hardware that you can buy. That's really cool because it gets you out of your comfort zone of using always the same things. Now, the intent here is not for you to spend money and get new stuff, but often using a new plugin that you have the free trial of a new plugin will allow you to experience new sounds, new methods of working, new methods of synthesis, and new ideas that are going to come about. This relates back to my point about tutorials. So always expose yourself to new information, which will help you, inspire you, and bring in new ideas for future tracks. Number 5, this is super important, and this is going to be the last point. Set serious goals and deadlines. If you just write just for the sake of writing, you could do it as a hobby, but that's what it's going to be. Set serious goals. Just like you have goals at work, whatever you do for a living, you have specific expectations, you want to get stuff done, write music with some goal, some deadline. Like mine was, when I wrote my first album, was to finish the album in 6 months, let's say. And I told myself I want to write this number of tracks. In my case, it was 11 tracks. And I jumped into it, and I put some milestones in between. I want to finish track 1 and 2 in a month, let's say, or in 2 weeks, or in 3 weeks. I want to get vocals done on them in November, etc. But setting this up, putting it in your calendar, be a bit crazy that way, and at least when time comes, you show up. You don't always go for what's easy. Let's say it's a Sunday. Today is a Sunday, I'm filming. I didn't really feel like filming, but I'm actually having fun doing this with you guys. instead of watching Netflix, right? Which is fun. Sometimes you need a break, but scheduling things in helps you, pushes you to get it done. And same with production. If you're scheduled to work, you show up to the studio, and no, it doesn't make it unnatural, okay? It gets the work done. And through that process, you might write 4 tracks and one of them is amazing. And that's what you needed. You might have never gotten there if you didn't put deadlines. You might have your manager that tells you, send me 15 songs by the end of, in 3 months from now, and we'll pick the top 5, or we'll pick the top 10, or whatever it is. Seriousness, deadlines, timelines, and these goals are super, super important in terms of the inspiration or that push you need to get you over that point where, like, yeah, now I'm into it. I'm writing a song that I like, and it's turning out to something awesome. So guys, this will be the last video of this series about being inspired, how to find inspiration as a music producer. If you have any questions, please share with me other tricks or tips you have. It'll be good for the whole community. Just write it in the comments below. If you have any other types of questions, feel free to ask me. If there's any videos you'd like me to make, if I think I'm a pro about that topic, I'll do a video. So yeah, see you guys next time. Cheers.